In this video I'm going to show you how to change the push button assignment to a group. I will show it today in an example with two lighting groups. Here is lighting group number 1 with the extension number 1 and lighting group 2 with the extension and group number 2. The same processes and rules as I explain now here in that lighting application apply also to the blinds or shading application and the push buttons for these applications. So let's first see how we can check the connection of a push button. When we go to the push button device here, we see the two push buttons on this device, lighting push button number 1 and number 2. And a first indication of where is that push button connect to gives the property tab with the object use information. The push button number 1, as you can see here, is used in the lighting application number 1. So that's connected to the light group number 1. The push button number 2 here is connected to the lighting group number 2. So this is a first indication where the push button is connected to. When we check now here the light application, then we see also here that we have the local manual operation application function within. And when we open that one, we see a collection view object for the push buttons. Here that collection object item is there because we could actually connect here more than one push button. That's why it's called here the collection view object. As we can see here, the lighting push button number 1 is connected to the lighting group number 1. So this is also a way how to check the connection between a push button and an application function. The same applies here for the lighting group number 2. We can open the local manual operation collection and then we see the push button number 2 which is connected to the application function. This is how we can check and see the connection of the push button. Now I will show you how you can assign push button to an application function. And for this we will focus here first on the lighting application number 1. Currently we have connected the push button number 1 to that application function and to that light group. I will now drag and drop the push button number 2 to this collection object or view object, and simply by drag and dropping it, it gets assigned here to that new collection object. So now with that drag and drop mechanism, I have connected push button number 2 now to the lighting group number 1. So that means both of these push buttons are now controlling the lighting group number 1. Remember here, the lighting group number 2 is still also controlled by push button number 2. If I now want to remove that one, per example, I can simply go to the push button in the application function and say remove. So with that setup now here, we have changed the control or the push buttons for the lighting group number 1. So both push button devices are now controlling lighting group number 1, and lighting group number 2 currently has no push button assigned to it. We see that also when we open here the push button devices and we check again the property of the object views. We see here this one is connected to lighting group number 1 and this one here is also connected to lighting group number 1. So this is how we can check the connection of a push button for lighting and blinds application, and simply by drag and dropping these push button items to the corresponding application function, we can connect these two items together. And when we want to remove it, we simply press here the context menu on the push button in the collection object of the application function and remove it. That's how we can manage and change the push button devices and the push buttons in the different lighting or blinds group.